grab a cup of Joe, because today, March 27th, is National Joe Day. That's right, everybody. Today is March 27th, National Joe Day. Probably one of the most important holidays of the year. And as a Joe myself, I find this holiday very important. There are so many famous Joes in the world. Joe Pesci.
Right. Funny how the two youths.
Joe Montana. Another football legend, Joe Namath. Whoa, Joey Lawrence. Whoa, this is amazing! Joe Mangelino, I think I got his name right. Shoeless Joe Jackson, Joe DiMaggio, Joe Lewis, Joe Frazier. Pulitzer Prize is named after Joseph Pulitzer. Joe Cocker, Joe Walsh, Joe Pantelino. Can't really how to pronounce his name, but I love that guy.
No, what they call him, that's why I'm captain.
Joe Piscapo.
Thousands and thousands of...
One of my favorite podcasters, Joe Rogan.
Right?
Listen to his podcast all the time. One of my favorite actors, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
My dad got shot a couple years later.
And don't forget, we have female Joe, Joey Lauren Adams, or Joey Potter from Dawson's Creek. Joe Sampson's Family Guy. There's Joe Cool. Joe Camel. No, he's not so much well liked anymore, but Joey Friends.
How you doing?
And don't forget Joe Dirt.
Rule number one. I'm number one.
Or Joe Dirte. However which way you want to pronounce it. And the list goes on and on. And I'm sure I've forgotten many Joes. I've just sat here and just named a bunch off the top of my head of all the famous Joes and throughout history. There's so many Joes out there in the world. Well, today I want you to find a Joe. Give a Joe a high five. Tell him, hey, I'm glad I know a Joe like you. And to all you average Joes like me in the world, happy National Joe Day. And this is probably the most awesomest day ever. That's pretty awesome.